Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats, chicken, dogs, snakes, and frogs. We are so happy to have you here for Nightcap Knowledge. Our brother Mac is live on the scene for the Sleepout to help the homeless, presented by Mississippi Move, along with all of the wonderful partners that we have been able to Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. It is Nightcap Knowledge every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern, live on Black with No Chaser. Let's go. How to do, man? How to do? I ain't even faded that.
Hey man,
Golly.
what is the deal, pickle? Is everything kosher?
Look, man. Uh, it's the holiday season. I'm able to be here on Nightcap Knowledge. I think that it is as kosher as it can be. And it's the 10-year anniversary of the Sleep Out to help the homeless. A testament of Mississippi Move and Mr. Mac's consistency and commitment to the great state of Mississippi and the city of Jackson, man. So Mac, definitely got to give you some applause. Hope you can hear that. Can you hear the applause? Can you hear that? Yeah, all right, good stuff. Man, look, how you feeling, man?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm good. The crew is here, man. We got the good representation from the men of Phi Beta Sigma Mu Sigma chapter. B&B barbecue on the scene. Mark is about to pull off. He done dropped that fried turkey down on there. And
Oh boy, I got fried turkey.
man, he fried turkey and smoked wings and had macaroni and cheese.
Oh
And
man, boy, it's Thanksgiving already, though.
man, listen, they enjoying it, man. A lot of folks showed up. Sorors from Mendenhall came and brought several pizzas, passed out pizzas to folks. And it just a lot of good folks, man. We got a
Yeah,
lot. Said a lot of shout outs to Valencia Robinson. Park team came through. They had care packages. We had crews that was here, man. That being consistent. Um, that they look that that's Ray, part of the B&B team. He's
yeah.
leaving.
Hey man,
So
tell Ray I said what up.
yeah, he getting in the truck, man. They brought, and people are starting to come out, man, and bring their families. One of the fresh tour brought his nephews, and the children are learning firsthand what giving back is about. Um, and well, I don't know if you want me to dive into all that right now, Chuck, or not,
No,
but
I think it's definitely an appropriate way
yeah,
for us to get straight into it, man. I ain't nothing better to talk about tonight than this.
but a lot more folks. We have a lot of folks that are unhoused that are here, but we have a lot of folks that are in need that came. We had a lot more children here than ever. We've had children at Breaking Bread, which is doing today, but for us to sleep out, we've never had this many children.
Yeah.
We had one young lady that showed up with the baby on the hip, right, a little baby,
Uh-huh.
um, and two small children. So we've had a lot of folks show up with children that were in need and in need of resources. We got a lot of contact information, so we're gonna sit down and do some follow up with. And we're not gonna let it wait. We're gonna definitely get right on it next week and do some follow up and try to touch base with as many people as possible to see how we can further assist them. Man, we got a lot of folks that are looking forward to us coming. They we can call them by name. They came and made their paddle by the fire. I'm sleeping right
Yeah.
here tonight. That's what they say. I'm sleeping right here with y'all tonight. I'm here all night. What y'all need me to do? Um, so it's definitely something that as we start off every one of these by thanking them for allowing us to come into their home. They are very opening and welcoming. That Here's another thing that's we have a lot more unhoused women and younger men.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot more younger brothers that are
So
unhoused.
Mac, and you saying a lot more. Can you speak to the demographic of people or our audience that we've had previously over the last 9 years?
So in all transparency, you have more white population, you've had more female population, and younger black males. Typically, we've had some of the younger black males that showed up from some that we ran across. Some of them have been recently released from incarceration, but we have a lot more of younger black males, a lot more females in general, and then a lot more of white population that started to show up.
Mm-hmm.
So that just let you know the terms, how things are turning, how things are looking.
Yeah.
Poverty is rising. Recidivism is a real thing. You have a lot of folks that are, suffering, right? And someone would say, well, how do you know that they're suffering, right? Well, from not just professional training, but you see someone having a full conversation to themselves, correct,
Yeah.
right? So
Right.
um, it, you don't have to have a lot of training and education to know that this brother or sister is dealing with some stuff. But so that's someone that falls in the category of a vulnerable adult that needs support and needs some type of assistance, and they get a lot of it, but they a lot of them are still in a position where they are unhoused. Um, so we're serving them. We having conversation. One guy's a poet. Him and Dr. Cheney over there talking like they've been friends forever.
Yeah.
Um, One of our guys that assist us, Mr. Trust, came out here earlier to help us out, and he found his classmate out here.
Really.
Got him to school with. They just started talking. So there is no difference, right? We don't know their paths and what had led them to this point. And we always talk about sometimes some of us might have been in situations if you didn't have a certain support system, right? um, Chuck didn't have two praying grandmas. You never know, you know.
I mean, I'm gonna say this, Mac. I mentioned and I told I say in the next 10 years of um Mississippi Moves efforts and the next 10 years of we got the Keither popping in. I'm gonna add him to the stage.
Okay.
Welcome, brother Keither. We were just talking for I'm visioning the next 10 years, and I started laying some groundwork with the guys that just crossed that Tougaloo. And I think with me having been here on the coast now, for at least 9 years full time. A couple of the guys that have crossed Omega at Tougaloo, I told them, I said, look, man, I want us to start having a larger presence with the sleep out. And the conversation that I told with them, I say, man, the best way for me to explain to you what the sleep out is this. I say it's a group of conversations around the fire where people get to know each other and understand a bit more about how life happens. And when you understand how life happens, where you can, as Max said, like when you have a grandmother
That's
that
Mark.
prays for you, when you have when you have some friends that are concerned about your well-being, then it puts you in a situation where you're not as susceptible to certain things that might affect others. But even when you have all of those different pieces of support around you, there are some of us that find ourselves in circumstances that are unfavorable. And as we've seen over the past 10 years, you've got college educated individuals that were affected by, two or three things at one time: loss of a family member, loss of a job, natural disaster. And that caused them to be in a situation that, where they're now classified as unhoused. So the thing is, I think we've done a decent job. I can't say, I don't want to get no grade or anything. We've done a decent job of raising some awareness around the number of people that might end up in a situation like this. But I think we got to do another layer of storytelling as it relates to how some of these situations truly arise. And then we ain't got to tell nobody business, but we do have to lay out, like, this isn't something that's far-fetched. A hurricane, a tornado, and I'm gonna unmute you, Mac. A hurricane, a tornado, a loss of job, a mental health crisis, any of those things could send us into a situation where we find ourselves in need of assistance. So adding Dr. Cheney to the stage, we want to welcome the Keither, Commissioner Stamps. Unmute yourself and then come on, give us some updates live from the Sleepout.
Well, I appreciate everybody for always, 10 years strong doing this, the consistency, even in how we prepare for this. It doesn't take much. Everybody knows what they're going to do. Everybody knows where they're going to go. And so I just want to appreciate all the organizations, especially Phi Beta Sigma, Mississippi Move, and Mississippi in Action. And I know I missed somebody, but all the rest of them, even our staff came out tonight. So it's always great. But more importantly, man, life is getting hard. I mean, real hard. Okay? I mean,
Yeah.
even one of our, Dr. J, her house burned down last week. And all she had was the clothes on her back.
Right.
What happens when that's you? Or what happens when the house burned down and you were renting it? So you don't have any homeowners insurance, any transition situations. So in situations in Jackson where you got, 60-something% of the population renting, when a house fire happens, these people are homeless.
Right.
And a myriad of other issues that cause homelessness. There's about 5,000 children in Jackson Public Schools that are homeless.
Right.
Not 5, not 50, not 500, but 5,000. And they know that because they switch schools at least 6 times a year. So they're basically transitional, couch surfing, just whatever they can do with their whole families probably sometimes. So the situation is not something that's out of touch for the average person when people sit back and think about it. Your children are in class with homeless children every day.
Right.
But beyond that, you bring hope to people. Hope brings down crime. When you can give people hope that somebody cares. And that's why we do all this stuff, is to give people hope. We love to hang out with each other, but we give people hope. People came here receiving hope tonight. And that's what I feel. I mean, when you look out in the crowd, the one thing I always remember is that you never know, you can't really differentiate the homeless people from the volunteers.
Right.
When you just look out in the crowd, because people are talking about football games and basketball games and just normal things people talk about. So I always enjoy it. It makes me feel grateful for the blessings I have. I mean, it makes me feel real grateful for it. So I can talk all night, but go ahead, Dr. Cheney. He can give a more scientific approach to it.
What's going on, Chuck?
Hey, look,
Um,
every day's
let
every
me
day.
let me. I know it, brother. I know it. I think really and truly, um, one of the reporters asked me tonight, and I think this is something serious that has to be discussed. How can we take this to another level?
Hmm.
Not just for tonight. Um, how do we deal with the homeless population, not only in the city of Jackson, but just the city of Jackson primarily, but surrounding areas? Um, how do we get more conversation with it? Um, and how do we get our city council um, folk really more in tune to what's really happening in the city of Jackson? Now, the Keither is I'm gonna toot his horn here, but that brother has been with us when he was a city council member,
That's right.
um, when he was state rep, and when he was now the state commissioner. I just think that it would be nice to see other city council members come out and really have a conversation to really know what's happening in the city and to be able to see things just like we see them. But I think there's got to be some type of conversation. And I know other metropolitan areas have had the same issues and they've been trying to do different things. But I think it's time that the city of Jackson start looking, at how do we assist, not only from a temporary standpoint,
Mm.
I can't think of the lady's name. You guys know who I'm talking about with the 80 tiny homes. But that's temporary. And so what happens when those men and women are done temporarily? Are they really preparing them for outside of that 6 months to a year so that they can get real jobs, get that training that's needed, all of those things. So I think it should be a real conversation. Um, I'm trying not to be political, but I'm about to be political.
Everything is
We just
political, so
we just
don't
got
do it.
all of this money for workforce. So if we have a shortage of workers, then you might have some workers that are right here in the inner city that have the skill set already or have the willingness to be able to learn certain things. So I just think that we're just going to have to take this to some other levels, and I wish we had more um, city officials support this effort and other efforts that go on with our homeless. You just don't see it as much. I understand it's maybe not on the agenda, but I think it needs to become part of the agenda.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
And this
You
I'm
know,
not mad at you for being political. So, Keith, go ahead and jump in on that.
yeah, I mean, I appreciate y'all. When I was in the city council, Stokes and I wrote a law that made it illegal to drop off people in Jackson because one of the drivers, not the only one of the drivers of the homeless situation is that how you come through Jackson sometimes and you see a police car from some strange town or something like
That's
that.
right. Yeah.
So we got reports that people come from as far as Shreveport to Birmingham dropping indigent people off in all the small towns in between, not just those cities specifically, but Memphis has not been on to do it. We all over Mississippi. So basically we wrote a law to make that illegal. It was called the Indigenous Protection or something law for the indigent. Because if they're in their hometown and they got a guy sitting in the park and they say, hey, get in this police car. And they handcuff him and they take him to Jackson and drop him off, and boom, here he is. Now he's disconnected from whatever he was connected to there, but now has to connect to whatever we have here. And so, that's one driver where there has been some political actions that did pass. it's just one of those things where, you know,
How do you enforce?
you enforce it easily because you got civilians out here taking videos of people dropping people off in Jackson. There was one that was really popular. It was on Facebook about a year or two ago, where the police from, I think it was one of those surrounding counties, was dropping people off in a civilian, caught it on video. You know, so that practice alone is a major driver. Just imagine you drop somebody off in downtown Jackson. Where they gonna go? They don't even know they don't even know where they are.
Yeah.
They don't even know what city they're in. You know, so you know, there are many drivers to the situation, but that's one that can easily be fixed. Not easily, but that you can directly point to and say, okay, here's a driver. And then also wraparound services. You know, wraparound services matter. You know, you got to have those, you know, skills training. You talked about workforce a second ago, but like homeless housing, you know, like Jackson lacks
Right.
every level of housing. You don't have homeless housing. You don't have middle class housing. You don't have, you know, condos. You don't have rich people housing. You don't have senior citizen housing. You know, so there's a housing crisis that's driving the homelessness, and that's the major conversation. But Jackson is housing.
Does Patrick would like to say something? Okay. That I agree 100%. And the things that I disagree with is this: we will allow talking points and talking points that are developed in a vacuum to dominate the news cycle, and it's being thrown around in this, you know, this quote unquote political football. Like when they get on the news, the anchors, they're quote unquote delivering the news in an supposedly unbiased way, but the news that you are reporting on, you receive from a press release. So the journalists that I know will go out and they will look for stories. They will find the stories that matter to the community. You know, this whole thing about on our side or in the community and all of these things there. How is it that the politicians or the political parties have direct access to these reporters or the news cycle, but when Brother Sabir sends out a news alert, posted to news break, the PR machine and all the buttons have been pressed, but sometimes the things that the College of Career and Health Services can't get the publicity that it needs, or when Keith Stamps and his team from the commission show up, or when the brothers are at the corner of, you know, Medgar Evers and Martin Luther King, all of these things happen not because we want to get the credit for them, but if anybody says that, man, why we can't get this on the news? Why is it that we see the same thing on social media that we see on WLBT
But check
or
this out, man.
WAPT?
We our own news. We just need to report the good stuff ourselves.
There you go. And that's my point for bringing it up. And that's why we do what we do right here on Nightcap Knowledge. That's why we're developing these lanes. But it's still important for us to tell the truth and shame the devil, because at the end of the day, we know whose money is inside of your pocket. So I know that the equipment that I have was purchased out of blood, sweat, and tears. I know that when we show up, we're able to broadcast wherever we are with at least 1080. And we've got everything that we need to tell the stories. The only thing that we need is our community to continue to stay connected and to help us find the stories that need to be told. So it looked like Pat want to jump in, and no, he just here. But Mac, I do want you to jump back in and give us an update on all of the partners that are gathered there tonight that are supporting this now 10th anniversary of Mississippi Moves Sleep Out to help the homeless.
Well, so we talked about Mississippi in Action. We have now, like I said, Stamps and switched hats 3 times. Still been involved, still working. We still have Dr. Cheney, who's changed hats, and he's still here and still involved and still working. We have B&B Barbecue that did the food. We see nothing but smoke out there. Who kicked this thing off with us? He's still out here showing out and showing his ass as usual.
with his
Uh,
big beard.
with his beard. Uh, but and that's like I said, we got new partners and new friends, and we still got some folks that started this process with us that are still
Yeah,
here. And now they come out just to support. But it has become a place where people congregate to be around and see each other. You know what I'm saying? Like really, some friends and you say, bros, you don't see them at homecoming, or and then you come out to the park and be like, man, where you been? I ain't seen Steve Bush in a long time, but I know I'm gonna see Steve Bush at the Sleepout,
yeah,
right? I might not see James Martin at tailgate, but I know I'm gonna see James Martin at the Sleepout. It's something that the brothers and folks look forward to. We got our sorors, like I said, from Minute Home Chapter, our sister Sandrina, who is being recognized by Mu Sigma Chapter. Dr. Cheney can give you a little bit more information about that for the gala. The folks have been dedicated to this process and continue to do the work. And we got new people that are coming on board. We had a gentleman out here today that was providing resources for those who are addicted to drugs, to make sure that they don't have a drug overdose. So they were passing those things out in this environment because we know that people uh, they come to these areas and they try their best to get folks, and feed them into their habit, right?
yeah.
And we need to continue to do this work, continue to partner, continue to bring in more people, and we continue to grow. Our goal is to fight proactively to prevent things from happening, to put people in a position to be homeless, and to help those that are homeless and displaced to find housing and support. And hopefully, we can work hard enough to work ourselves out of an event. And when we do this event,
There you
it's
go.
just to socialize, right? It is
Right.
not that because we have people that are in dire need of our assistance and resources.
Yeah,
Um, so I know
yeah.
we had
To tell
plans
to
for
tell the
Jay.
story of where we started, like the sleep out was created because a few homeless shelters were in jeopardy of closing.
Correct, correct.
And it was a landmark in terms of us being able to mobilize, and shout out to 99 Jams, Mailman, Alice Marie, Stan for jumping in and
Yeah,
helping us, and also even WRBJ, Quasi, all those guys jumping in and helping us spread the word around the need for the support of the Billy Broomfield house. So we continue, as you said, Mac, we continue to raise this flag and make sure that folks know about what's happening in Jackson. And as Brother Stamp said, look, if we don't tell our story, somebody else gonna tell them for us.
and listen, there are people right now. I talked to our brother Dietrich Johnson over there at the bridge, the drop-in center right now on Capitol Street. They need resources. Talk to Mr. Reggie at Broomfield House. They need resources, right? Uh, People need resources to be able to help the folks that are in need. And if you want to, you can go to Broomfield House and drop off they need underwear, they need socks, they need razors. These are the things that they talk about that they need. Um, so if people want to help, just go by and ask folks that are already working towards um, a solution to how you can help and how can you be a support to them.
Yeah.
And we're gonna keep moving forward, man. I know some other people just pulled up. So I think we got uh, um, um, another report to do. So I know they usually go live.
Yeah. So what news outlets are out there?
So everybody's been here, 16, WLBT and JTV. And I know they come back for a live shot, but everyone has come. And we want to thank the media outlets for supporting this, right? We want to bring awareness, bring support, but help us understand that there was a movie they did years ago with I think his name is Digimon. Um, um, I can't remember his last name. But
The
he
brother that
filmed,
played in
he's been in everything.
Homicide.
Yeah, he been in everything, right? And it was the same difference as me. and it's the name of the movie. And he filmed it on Fair Street. And that when brother Stephen Cook, who's also being recognized, he was at Central. Um, and they filmed it there, and they were just talking about same difference as me. There's nothing different from them than from us, right?
Yeah.
And like you can't tell who's who, uh, and because there's not a lot of difference. Just the conversations these folks were standout athletes and different things of that nature. So um, we we don't know their story, right? And we can find out their story might be able to help somebody else if we can be able to get the information and be able to help them. We have a gentleman that came and helped out and went back. He said, I used to be out here. He told me, he said he was on drugs. He used to be out here and he had to get that monkey off his back.
Yeah.
And he came back out here and donated some stuff. And his brother work every day now, right? But he said, I was out here with him. That's why I'm comfortable. So, but look, y'all go ahead. Who is this? Lord have mercy. Don't let him say nothing. That is Brown. Don't let Brown say nothing.
Nah, bro. Hey, we just figured how to make ourselves a little tripod so we can do this.
Good job.
Hey,
Good
but
job.
what I tell folks is that people say, well, what they need. Well, heck, whatever you need, they need. I mean, shit.
What they need.
I still can't find my drawers.
Wait, what type of question is that? Like they became an alien with type Z blood. Like what they need.
But you know what? But brother Pat was joking, but he did make a real point. He was like, I almost forgot that this brother was seriously displaced from a natural disaster.
Yeah.
He said it jokingly. He was like, well, hell, I'm homeless. He was like, Pat, and I thought about it. This brother did lose his house in a natural disaster while working in a line of work to help others that were in need. And I think Pat can share that. Pat.
Well, yeah. So I was at that time, 2022. I was working with Grand Gulf down there in Port Gibson, and the reason I was doing that situation because I was trying to actually better the house, do some renovations, this, but evidently God said, well, hey, we got something else in place. And as I was working that day, because I had just did a swing shift and went from nights to days, and went to work that morning, no issue, no problem, and got a text message from my mom. She's like, have you talked to your uncle? I said, no, what would he talk to uncle for? She said, well, call your uncle. So at that time, things had already happened, but she wasn't in a place to, I guess, tell me.
Yeah.
So I called, reached out to uncle, said, man, what's going on? And he was in a frantic. Yeah, the house gone, this. So my first question as my spirit was calm, I asked him, I was like, hey, is the structure still there? He said, yeah, but ain't everything in it gone. So I'm in Port Gibson, Mississippi, trying to figure out, you telling me I don't have anything at the house. So
See, that's authentic right there.
You will not have the room to receive it. This is the part I like right here. Well, if you don't believe you've really been blessed, take another look and see. Oh yeah. Clothes on your back and food on the table. And supply everyone else. Instead of thinking about the things you don't have yet, just thank God for what you have and what you have left. I'm sure you will find that you've really been blessed. Lord God, you've been good to me. Hallelujah. God will open up the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing. Oh my God will open up the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, and God will open up the windows of heaven and pour you
Pour you out a blessing.
Hey, I'm finna fellowship. I can talk to y'all later.
Hey, I'm gonna say this. I think that's the perfect way for us to wrap right there. If y'all got any closing words, I know Pat, you were in the middle of your story, but I think what we're gonna have to do, man, we're gonna have to Matt, you need to give me some funding so I can buy a few more cameras. We gonna tell this story ourselves. I ain't got but two.
Hey man, we gotta get a whole lot more everything so we can do what we need to do. Hey
We're gonna,
man, look,
well,
we were
we're just a tad bit, but after that little situation, so coming to the reality of it took me about 2 hours to get home.
Yeah.
Uh, from because it was still raining, power lines down. It was just crazy. And when I finally made it home, um, it was like hundreds of people just all around. So you couldn't really grasp the concept of what was going on until I went in. I had to secure something, secured it. Went to the car, put everything up. Once I let the trunk down of the car, reality set in,
Mm,
and I'm sitting down on the hill, looking up, and like,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
And so now you go in the house, and it's destroyed. So, but you still had to keep a frame of mind. You had people all over the place in your head. Um, so it took a while. I mean, it took a good while for me to just grasp the concept, grasp this deal. But 2 years forward, uh, still working to work to try to get to rebuild. Paperwork has been submitted, but waiting on waiting on what you're waiting on. But every now and again, I look back and say, well, I'm still displaced, but I'm in a different bracket of homelessness than what we're standing here for tonight.
yeah.
Uh, I can go home, or I can go to some place in shelter, roof over your head, you know, running water, stove, this that. But every now and again, in the humanity of life, you still have that same reality. I'm just a working. It's almost like when you have people that were on drugs and they're functioning addicts. They still have a job. They still work 8 to 5. They're still in the public's eye, but they have a habit. They have an issue.
Yeah.
Me is like I'm still displaced. I don't have a place to call my own, but I'm able to still function, able to still smile, even though I don't want to smile. But at the same token, you got to do what you have to do. And I'm still, my health is good, finances are good, life is good in spite of. So if there was a lesson, if there was a story to tell, you know, sometimes you got to go through it in order to come on the other side, so you can tell somebody about how you made it over. So it's a story to tell. It's a book to
Amen.
write. But I'm a living, functioning, displaced uh, brother. But at the
Yeah.
same time, I still have joy. I still have a worth to say, hey man, I got to keep moving because I know where I'm trying to go. So if you have that inspiration, if you have that desire, then things will work out for you. It just takes a little while because hey, he didn't put you here just to say, okay, I'm gonna leave you out there. But at the same token, you got to do your part. You got to do the work. So, and it's funny because now the job that I'm working now, guess what I'm doing? I'm helping people that can't help themselves. Wow.
Wow.
Look at God.
So I'm in a position to say, okay, well, I don't have, but we have the resources. So I work with Voice of Calvary Ministries. Um, Matter of fact, right
Right
down
there.
the street,
Hey, right there.
right over.
Hey, no. Hey, right through the right. Yeah, that's Voice of Character
So,
right
so
there.
on the other side of this park, that's where I'm at. So I still deal with the population, but it's a humbling experience because I have lived that reality. So how can I tell somebody about homelessness if I ain't never been homeless?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was just the fact that I was able to be that vice to be used. It's 2 years past, but the hope is still there. Greater is coming because the work is being done. The work has been put in place, and he's keeping me. You know what I'm saying? I've lost a lot. I've lost a lot of people, lost a lot of family, lost close family. Mac knows. But at the same token, that's that purging, that's that rebuilding. So I'm a Job in today's society right now.
Yeah.
So you know the story of Job, you know. So I am Job. So if anybody asks me, I'm gonna tell you that I am the Job of today. Because I lost everything, but then he's gonna give me double for the trouble that I've been through.
There you go. It sounds like bro Pat is saying that he's a walking sermon. I don't know if anybody out there has heard of Edgar A. Guest sermons we see. There are some people that say I'd rather see a sermon than hear one any day, man. And I think that's a great way for us to close out what we've been doing and what we will continue to do with Nightcap Knowledge, with Mississippi Move, and with the Sleep Out to Help the Homeless, along with all the other activities. So if you're looking for some good trouble to get into, you can pick anybody, reach out to us. You can sign up for the volunteer form on msmove.org, and I promise you we're going to point you in the right direction, or we'll put you in the seat next to us. So with that being said, make a donation. Help us continue this work. msmove.org. Click the donate button. We'd like to thank all of the Nightcappers for chiming in tonight. Tracy, brother Marcus, brother sister Tanja, all of the beautiful people over at Black with No Chaser. Man, thank y'all for tuning in, and we are going to get to where the money resides, man. We'll see y'all next Tuesday, each and every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Central. The Sleep Out to Help the Homeless. We are live. Tune in to the local news stations, and we will keep you updated by keeping you engaged with Nightcap Knowledge on Black with No Chaser. Peace.
Wait. What a money reside, 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 what a money